see like all of these contract vehicles, the major tech contract vehicles. That's where we're getting a lot of these from. And so again, just to sort of kind of echo what Raphael said here, I think the most important thing to keep in mind when looking at FTID is that there's no dollars here. These aren't awards. These are all just RFQs. So again, it's this sort of demand signal from the government rather than specifically what the government bought. It's what they're looking to buy. And so what we do is we go through these contract vehicles and we pull all these RFQs out. And if you ever spend any amount of time looking at FPDS data, or I guess SAM.gov data now, in the contract requirement field, it leaves a lot to be desired. You don't see a lot of specifics called out. Often they'll just say things like IT products or something, right?
Right.
And so when the government is specifically asking for something, when they're asking for quotes, what they're really doing is they're saying, hey, we want these specific things. And they'll often give like part numbers and stuff like that. And so what we're able to do is we're able to pull all that out, and you'll see like a brand here in the description. We're able to put that brand separately, pull it out, and put it into something where we can like kind of pull them all together. But even if the brand isn't there, what we're able to do also is look at the part number and like sort of extrapolate from that and determine what the brand is. And essentially, we're able to get as much data as we can out of here, right? Like you'll see over here on the right, we've got department, agency, office, division. We're able to go as deeply as we possibly can on that solicitation to see who's asking for this, right? And I'm going to keep drawing your attention to the data table because I think this is the real meat of the product. I think that this is the diagram is really useful here for like sort of bird's eye view to kind of draw apart trends like over time, for instance, because you see you've got the time element down here. And you can see when these big bumps are. You can see a huge one here in 2020, right? Like there's a ton of IT stuff being bought right in the heart of COVID, right? Like, and essentially you're able to kind of break all this down by looking at a number of different ways to like look at brands, departments, and we've also got smart tags. We tag all of this data as well. And so one of the best ways into the product is using this apply recommended filters button up here. And you're able to either say, select your government agency, or you can actually type in a brand here. So let's take a look at Dell. And there's a little bit of cleanup to do, but not much. Both Nico and I actually worked on kind of cleaning up a lot of this data. So we can get both of those in. Also, before I get into that, if you're looking for something specific, like based on our tags, you could say, look at servers, for instance, and you can select it here. You can also browse as well through the whole list of our tags. And they're all sort of, like you can break them down by products and services, for instance, and just like dig deeper.
And on the tag, you could have like, if you knew a specific model number or something like that, you could put that in there.
That's not going to work for the tags, but you can do that up here for like a keyword search.
Okay.
So if you have something in mind, it'd be a great place to do that. But I think I lost my tags, or I lost my brands. And sometimes if you're looking for like, so we also, if it's not specific that they're asking for, say like Dell just specifically, say there's also a reference to Cisco, you'll get stuff like this where it could be both. These two should probably be combined. I'll make a note to do that later, but just look at the largest collections of brands for Dell and HP. You can also reorganize this as well. Basically, you can see it's just brand here. You can see that the bulk of it is going to be Dell. There's a lot of Dell in this product. But you can also reorganize. Say if you want to see which contract vehicle, you just move that up and you can see the contract vehicles that we're pulling off of. Or say you want to just see department, again, like which departments are buying this and over time which ones. So you can see Army bought a lot of Dell early on and then it sort of trailed off. And so this is like the time element, right? Like this is over time you can kind of zero in when things were specifically solicited. We've also got the market share. where say you just want to see like who's specifically soliciting, who's looking to buy Dell. Again, a lot of Army, but that's historical data. So I think we might want to take a look at Homeland Security. And I don't see CISA in here. At least not specifically. So they might not be looking specifically at these brands, but we can always just back out of both of those brands, and we can see specifically what CISA was looking to buy. And that what that does is that basically limits everything down here. So yeah, it was actually just so small that you couldn't see it on the screen. So there are two Dell products that they specifically looking to get.
Now, in that search you just did that include Dell, or was that all products that CISA is looking at?
This is all products that CISA is looking at. This is everything we got for CISA. Actually, I do have Dell still on there. I thought I removed it. This is everything for CISA.
Okay, okay, good. I was gonna say it was a pretty limited shop there. Okay, all right, there we go.
Yeah, I thought I clicked the Dell removal, but yeah, and so you just get a market share. This is without the time element, right? So
Hmm.
you can kind of like basically look at it like an onion, right? So if you wanted to back out of CISA, you can look at all of Homeland Security. The other thing I wanted to show is we've got all of these contact fields over here. So we can see specifically which contact is associated with that solicitation. And if it's linked, that means that we've our sort of contacts people, our contacts analysts, have done the work to confirm that that person is still active and where we say they are. Got an email, phone number, and essentially what's really neat about this part is if you click on the contact name, before I get there, sometimes like so here you can see there's two contacts on this one. So if you click on the view more, you can see both of them. But if it's ever hyperlinked, what that means is that you can click on the hyperlink, it'll take you out of FTIB into our contact database, and you can see much more information about that contact, information that we've actually been able to verify with our analyst team. And what's really handy about this too is that you can click on the technology install base tab here, and you can see everything that this person has been on. And so this person seems to really like Polycom. Of
Okay.
course, back in 2017, so this is some older data. And again, you got the same type of breakout here. You can look at, like, say, smart tags, brands, there's Polycom, market share by smart tag. And what's also really neat here is that this is a very limited perspective. You don't get the data here specifically. All you get is sort of like the bird's eye view.
Sure.
But if you clicked on the technology install base button over here, it takes that contact and uses it as a filter for basically everything in FTIB. So you can come back into the product and then you get the actual data, the specific line items that they have solicited in the past.
That one individual has been involved with. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And there's a lot of ways to customize this too. I'm just going to briefly touch on them. You can change your columns, for instance. I use almost all the columns. I don't specifically use zip code or location for state or province. But you can organize them however, which order you want. You can save your searches. You can download this data. I don't remember exactly what the limit is. I think it's Nico. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's 5,000 rows. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can basically customize that as well, which columns you want to bring in, which ones you want to download. And so you just back out of that, and we're back in the product where we can basically look at everything.
So the example that you had with CISA and Dell, uh, do we know what program, as far as program management within CISA that they were using those Dells? And do we know what FSI they purchased it through, or did they purchase direct from Dell?
Okay, I probably should have mentioned that. So we're not entirely sure, at least not from this perspective. Essentially, what the brands are is just a sort of recognizable brand. It's not necessarily the who was actually selling them these products. It's often resellers, for instance, right? But it's the brand that was specifically called out. They were looking to buy Dells from somebody, right? Whoever basically gave them the best price or whatever their criteria might be.
Hmm.
So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell from this perspective, and I've tried in the past, and it's kind of difficult to reconcile these solicitations with the actual awards that resulted from them. I think at best you can get maybe optimistically 10% of this aligned with what these solicitations actually turned into, say in task order awards. It is kind of tricky because you'll notice that where's my solicitation number? So these solicitation numbers are actually specific to the portal that the contract vehicle uses, and so they don't really. I mean, sometimes maybe they can, but they don't really line up with the solicitation number that was on, say, the task order or the contract that resulted from this. It's gonna be different typically. So it's kind of hard. It's like an information asymmetry, I guess, is what you might call it. Um, but does that answer your question?
Yeah, and is there so when it comes to any because we have the pro or the brand there, but if it comes to something like an FSI or Leidos, right? You know, Leidos wins a contract. They need to sell. They need to buy a bunch of products that are going to go into the army or whoever they're going to. There's no way to search for that type of information, like Leidos uh, or HPE. Well, HPE would be, but Leidos as an example, or SAIC.
You can get some Lidos in here, I believe, but again, it's going to be specifically when that name was called out as something they produced. If they're selling something else, you're probably not going to be able to get that out of this. Yeah, so there's like nothing for Homeland Security from Lidos. Yeah, there's not a lot because it's going to be specifically stuff that is like branded with their name essentially.
Okay. So, but if I wanted to look into, and I say to myself, okay, I wonder if CISA is looking for a technology refresh of some sort. Let's just say for laptops or whatever. Um, I could use this tool to then go into CISA um, and try to drill down to that somehow, right? But how would I look at that?
Okay, so we look at everything CISA has solicited, and you can see they bought a bunch of stuff back here. Uh, Maybe reorder it for brand at the top. So they bought 1,000, and see if we can find it here with the quantity. So they bought about 1,000 licenses in 2023. And so, based on, say, for instance, how long these licenses might last, you could assume, for instance, that these might be up for renewal based on the life of these licenses. I'm not sure what a license
Right, right.
would entail with
I'd
that,
have to
but
figure that out. But
yeah,
you could scroll to the right though and see who the person was that looks like they bought two 500 packs, right? So we can see that looks like Rena Friday was the one that did that.
yeah,
So I could reach out to Rena and introduce myself and start looking to see if there's anything that she needs. I can make reference to, are the licenses coming up and maybe I could also take a look at the solicitation number and see more information about any specifics they had on those licenses.
yeah. But also keep in mind, like I said, a lot of these solicitation numbers are going to be specific to the portal that was used. So specifically for Suit 5, actually, for these ones.
Okay.
So
Okay.
The other thing too is like you can once you find something like this, and if you can use our research team as well. So like if say for example that one was Slack licenses, I literally as you guys were talking just grabbed Slack licenses, went over to the task order database, pulled up Homeland Security, and I've got both of the task orders here. So there's things that you can still dig in going from here. This is kind of like that first point of like where do I need to aim? Like let me find out where my target actually is, where's the interest of where they're buying, and then being able to go and kind of take what you see from the description there over into a task order contract live database and try and pull it from there as well. And then even if you physically couldn't pull it up in here, you can then always go, hey, Dennis, can you have your research team look and find these? Because I was trying to find it in FTID and in task orders, and I couldn't find it, and we would end up more than likely drilling it out for you, sending you back links to be able to review. So the circle could be complete even if you ran into any roadblocks.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Dennis. A real good point. And is there a way to set, like right now I have, daily reminders of things that are popping in or anything that's new in the last 24 hours. Can I set like, let's pretend that Slack comes in a 4-year license. Can I set it to any time that we're 4 years out on a Slack license and anything within DHS to give me an alert, in the morning, so to speak, that, hey, you might want to look at this?
I don't think we have a time element on the save search for FTID.
But on the task order search stuff,
Yeah, on the
and
task order.
and on the contract stuff, we could end up doing that together, John, where we would set up exactly the criteria that you need to monitor, and then on both the task order and contracts area, then when you save it, there is an email frequency where you can say, hey, when this contract falls within a year of expiration or 18 months of expiration, that it even goes all the way down to 9 months, 6 months, and 3 months, where we can email you a reminder of things that you have marked inside of GovWIN.
Okay.
So we'll give you a little things to be able to send the reminders, and yeah, you can save those into your profile just like we did your regular searches looking for opportunities.
Yes.
We can have it monitor task order expiration and contract expiration too.
I was just corrected by Nico. You can, it's not in the save search, but you can set priorities for each line item. So you can be reminded for specific times. So say if you want to look for 1, 3, or 5 years out, for instance, you can basically set it for any of those and you can get a reminder.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, Dennis, you kind of have an idea of, what I do. How would you use this tool to allow me to do my job better?
So it all depends upon what you are trying to target essentially, right? Like meaning product wise. So if you know you're going to be working with, let's say, Leidos or that type of thing, you want to try and see what they've won. So we would go through your task orders and your contracts, go and see what was awarded to them. Like what type of projects are they being awarded? And then once you find out essentially what they've been awarded, that means you know what they're going to have to gather for that to be able to fulfill that contract. So you would be able to come back here into FTIB, see what essentially the agency has the need for, right? Because we've collected all the RFQ, RFI information in here, and we see what they're requesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what actually went out to be the task order that Leidos wins. So now you've got those two pieces of the puzzle. You can then ask me, hey, can you give me a spend report on XYZ product, whatever it might be, so you get some history to it. And then now you've got a couple different bullets for your gun before you actually go to Leidos. You can say, I know the request was for this. I saw that you guys want da 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 da. You can ask us to reach out to the agency, find some budget amounts for you. So now you've got that to be a talking point, and you know exactly what Vibrant does. So you'll be able to have all your talk points there in your conversation. So you're doing a lot of proactivity going to Leidos with having this and the task order database and having us do like a spend report to just really uncover all of your talking points. So you go there, you're knowledgeable about what's going on. You're not drilling them with 50 different questions to try and go, am I the right person for the job? Like you have done all of that ahead of time. When they pick up the phone, they're like, oh, okay, John's got this all lined up. We should be looking at what they're going to sell us.
Yeah.
That's how I see it, right?
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah. And I think right now, as you said, this is not part of the package that we're on. I'm assuming after the call, you'd be able to kind of send me an idea of what a swag is on this so I can kind of talk to my VP about it, cost-wise.
Oh, yeah, that's where I come in.
Okay.
So the module is like a bolt-on. So it's $5,500 annual.
Okay.
add it to the subscription. So, and I know you guys are coming up here in like September, I believe, for the renewal. So, if you wanted to like add it to the renewal, we could do it that way. One thing to note, like, I think the date is like Dennis, can you, I had it
Pull
up
it up
right
right now.
now. So whatever the date is, so you have a renewal rep, but he's probably already sent out, a renewal notice and stuff like that. But we can add it to the renewal, and you know, um, let's say you sign it in August, you would actually get access to that TIB right away. So it's like a perk for signing the renewal early. So if you wanted to loop it into that,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
And also, I'll let you know too. I've got a business review set up with I think 3 or 4 of leadership in the next week. So it's not only sharing. What's been really cool is I'll just kind of like breeze this over.
Sure.
I am new to managing Vibrant, right? That you guys just got transferred to me like maybe about 5 months ago, 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of steps that I've helped a lot of folks out with that they really didn't touch bases with their prior CSM a lot, or vice versa. CSM didn't touch base with them a lot. So I've been kind of interacting with them probably every 2 to 3 weeks with either someone new, whether it's training, whether it's getting things all lined up. So there's been a lot of interaction is really what I'm getting at. And it's all been positive. Every single time I touch bases with someone, there's like a forward step that's happening. And with being able to take the meeting that we had today, kind of share the insight and understanding of how not just you would use it, John, but even once this thing becomes available, how some of the other folks could use it, how leadership could use it, that type of thing. So I'll be able to bring it up and kind of follow up right behind you. You know what I
Excellent.
mean? Like you can say, hey, I saw this. This is how it worked for me. This is what the cost would be. Dennis will probably mention it like in your business review. And I will. I'll cover it, saying what kind of stuff we found out, how it would be important, and how it would help. So yeah, I think this was like perfect timing with everything, your interest versus us going through the training and then the renewal just being a couple months away. I think it's all great timing and it will all make sense.
Yeah, I'm assuming Amy Steinberg is going to be on that call.
That is correct.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I sent her after you and I met. I put together a quick little debrief on. Yeah, as for the folks that are on the call that don't know, I was doing FedCiv BD work for a different company using GovWIN, but FedCiv BD work. Now I'm on the products team, so it's a different lens that I'm looking through on this. So I did send Amy a recap of what we talked about, Dennis, and all the things that I find valuable in this. And I'm going to do the same thing after we're done here. Just kind of give her a recap of that. We had this demo here and that kind of stuff, and it's something that she might want to take a look at and give that some consideration as needed. I see value in this. Certainly, they're the ones with budget authority on this type of stuff. But yeah, I think it's good stuff. And do you have some kind of a slick you can send me so when I send her email later today, I can kind of attach it?
Yeah, we have that.
Okay, cool.
I'll email that to you.
Yeah. Then that way it's like, hey, I took a look at this, and then she can look at a slicker. Okay. Any other features in that you want to make me aware of?
And I think we covered all of it. So remember, it's just like a piece of the overall picture that we can help you with. So this is like a component of it. But yeah, that's what it essentially does, and what can be done with it, and where it's coming from, and all that kind of stuff. So I think we got it all.
Well, I appreciate it today, and happy Monday, and have a great rest of the week.
All right.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. You're welcome. Bye bye.